Okay, check it out. We got a PlayStation 5. I've been wanting to do these for a while now because I do these a lot. I do these sometimes several times a day, HDMI on these. There's a huge epidemic. I don't care what anyone says. I know that people are rough with these consoles, but at the end of the day, they are fragile the way they're built, especially the ports. It's manufacturing is quicker and cheaper. And you'll see that anyway. It's just 4 anchor points that's holding this thing in. And the port itself sometimes breaks without it even coming off the board. So, and if I go to this one, you'll see. I'm gonna take it apart real quick. You're gonna see my process on this. Because I do so many of them, my process is pretty fast with this. And I also include service, so all the dust gets removed and the oxidation on the CPU of the liquid metal gets replaced as well. So it gets cleaned. So what I do is I got my air hose here. I take this off, put my pneumatic drill. These have a ton of screws. So I use this to get it off because I do so many of them. Come in. Yeah, I have to film YouTube videos, so I'm coming. I have to film YouTube videos, so I have to come in early to film them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye. Here's the thing, right? So this here, this spot is oxidation, and usually happens when the console's upright like this. The liquid metal will seep down, and you can actually see it is pooling more at the bottom than it is the top. It starts having these spots here. This has to be polished, so the console will make better contact with this, and you can see it on here as well. So this is part of the process of replacing the HDMI. This HDMI is proper messed up. So the story with this board is that the customer was playing a game, and they slowly started seeing the PS5 slide from the shelf. The PS5 started falling then, and it crashed onto the ports. But this is obviously a different scenario than we usually have. Usually it's just literally plugging in and out. And it doesn't take a lot and it breaks the port. The ports are very cheaply made. And that's for manufacturing purposes, to keep the costs down. In my opinion, these should be separate. So they should be like a plug and flex cable that then goes to, like, none of these ports really should be on the board itself. I don't think that's a good design. It should be going to the outer case via a flex cable that's replaceable, and that should solve a lot of issues. But obviously that costs more, so Sony's not going to do that, of course. So yeah, let's get it done. Okay, so here's the HDMI ports. You can see that the pins on this are severed here, so they're usually connected to here from top to bottom. This is because this plastic piece is actually pressed in. And the pins at the bottom are okay-ish, but we'll have to replace the whole thing. And you can see here, like, I think he was trying to get it to work again, so he was jamming it in and out, and eventually stopped working. But we're gonna get it to work. I do this over the desk. I don't actually do this under the microscope. So I got my ream of PS5 HDMIs here. We do a lot of these, so I have to keep them in stock. Looks like I'll have to buy some now, because otherwise people will be disappointed. I go to 500 degrees. It takes a lot of heat. So 500 degrees and then 111 air, just because it's, you know, looks cool. Just enough air. So you could go to the full 120, but I don't think it needs that. The Xbox Series 1 does need that though. So no nozzle on this. Let me just get a HDMI ready because I'm gonna do a quick swap. This is, for me, this is a super quick repair. But my method, I believe, is the method that's gonna have the HDMI stick the best. It's not gonna come off as easy, especially because I add more solder afterwards while it's hot. Almost there. There we go. And now we have to be quick. Basically, what we want to do is, while it's still hot, because again, this board takes a lot of heat, what I want to do is I want to add solder to the anchor points, more solder, more than Sony does. Nice blob, big blob of solders. So this wouldn't have worked if it was cold, because it takes a ton of heat. This board, it needs to be hot for this, for you to be able to solder to those anchor points. It is ground, so it'll take a lot of heat. So now I do the individual pins. Let's get this camera out the way. Now most people leave it as it is now, but I like to go over this. Just to make sure. Yeah, should be good. This little cap here, if it comes off, it's not a big deal. It doesn't really do anything. It smooths out the line. It's a cap, it's not a resistor, so it will not cause any issues whatsoever if you take it off. So now I'm going to clean it up. And then afterwards, just to make sure everything's okay, I'm going to do a continuity test between the pins. Let's see. Okay, cool. Okay, now I'm going to test these pins individually. Let's get rid of this fluff. Okay. So if these pins next to each other, like there's no pin on a PS5 HDMI that connects to the same pad basically. So if any one of these beep, then we know we have a bridge. It's the quickest, easiest way to test before assembling. This was me touching it. And fine as well, that's fine, that's fine. All good. So none of them are bridging and they're all good, making good contact to the board. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this here. So this is the heatsink. You can see there's like a purplish, yeah, so like it's supposed to be shiny, right? But there's like a purplish hue on there, like a matte hue, and you can see here, that's oxidation. That needs to be rubbed off so the liquid metal makes proper contact. I'll also be mentioning to the customer to sit the PS5 down so he doesn't have issues in the future. When you rub this, eventually the liquid metal would take again to the CPU. Or APU, as it's known. So you can see here it's becoming much better now. And this side is pretty much done. And you might wonder where's the liquid metal going? Well, it bunches up in the corners, so you don't need, in most cases, you don't need to add more liquid metal. It's not a case of a lack of liquid metal, it's just a case of it oxidizing, that's all. Okay, you can see now it's nice and shiny. Now I'm going to do it on this one as well. So liquid metal is mostly on the corners here. Yeah, that's good. So here it looks a bit messy, but it's making good contact now. So we can put the board, the repaired board, onto the heatsink. And then afterwards I'm going to clean it. Everything that you see here is part of the standard process of doing a HDMI, for us anyway. I know most people don't do this, most people don't do service, but we do. Now this is going to be kind of messy, because it's the fun. Okay, all assembled. HDMI has been sorted. I will be testing it now as well. So here's the first proper boot. And there we go, all sorted. So this is a very detailed process, but it's very standard for us. We do all the servicing is included in this. So the liquid metal, the dust removal, that's all included in the standard HDMI repair for us. Because I don't want the customer coming back saying, well, now it's turning off because it's overheating, even though that would have nothing to do with us. I still want to make sure the console lasts. If you need a repair like this, just contact us with the link down in the description. Just go to the website, put in an inquiry, and I'll see you in another video.